All right, welcome everybody to the first race of the 2021 FASCAR season. Um, this will be the 2021 Clash at Daytona. We are going to do a little bit of an exhibition race today, as the Clash is the traditional start of any FASCAR season. It is the exhibition race that kicks off the Fast Weeks, which is the week before the 500 miles at Daytona. Um, Fast Week includes the Clash and then the duels, and then finishes with the 500 miles of Daytona. So today we will be covering the 2021 Clash at Daytona. So to get started, the race format is 40 laps of the Daytona road course, and there are 21 drivers eligible. The driver's eligibility depends on if they have previously won a Clash, if they reached the playoffs in the 2020 season of FASCAR, which of course is now gone as FASCAR is going to a full points format. Um, they also have to win a pole across the previous season. So 21 drivers are eligible. Now, if we look at qualifying for the race, Denny Hamlin qualified on pole with a time of 1:48, followed by Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, Chase Elliott, Cole Custer, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Kurt Busch, Austin Dillon, Chris Buescher, Martin Truex Jr., Eric Jones, Eric Almirola, William Byron, Ryan Blaney, Ty Dillon, Kurt Busch, Ryan Newman, Alex Bowman, Matthew D. Benedetto, and Tyler Reddick. So now we will go to the race. So while the cars here are on their pace lap behind the pace car, we will just quickly talk about this track. The track is a road course around the Daytona International Speedway, traditionally used for endurance racing, but today it is the home of our FASCAR event. As you can see, the cars are now entering turn 3, which is the first horseshoe bend. Now they go down this short chute down into turn 4, which is called the kink. You can just follow them through it right now. And after the kink, they have a short run down into the second horseshoe bend, which is turn 5. And so being in a stock car, these cars are most likely dipping down into first or second gear in order to make it through those tighter turns, as the stock cars are pretty unwieldy. And now they enter into turn 6, which is the merge turn back onto the high bank portion of the oval. Now, going into NASCAR 1 and 2, these cars will be going flat out as traditional onto the traditional backstretch. That has been altered a bit for the road, as you'll see here once they come off of NASCAR turn number 2. So, favorites for the Clash are number 9, Chase Elliott, as he has won several of the previous road course races. Of course, Denny Hamlin in the number 11, as you can see on the front left here, is also another favorite, as he has been traditionally dominant at Daytona. Some surprises in the field today is the number 96 of Ty Dillon. He'll be running part-time this year for Gaunt Brothers Racing. Ty Dillon ran last year at Germain Racing, but unfortunately Germain Racing had to close their doors due to the global situation. Another fun fact, we have 2 pairs of brothers in the field today, the 96 of Ty Dillon and the number 3 of his brother Austin Dillon. I believe. Oh, look, what do we have here? Austin Dillon, number 3 for Richard Childress Racing, seems to be having engine issues, and the crew has pushed his car to pit lane. That is an unfortunate start of the season too for the number 3 team. So, as we come back to the field, there are now only 20 cars starting this race at the moment. We'll see if the number 3 joins us later on. So, going down the backstretch, the cars enter the first chicane of the course, which is the bus stop chicane. A quick left, quick right, quick left, back onto the banking. Then they head through NASCAR 3 and 4, onto the front stretch, and then into this chicane, which is called the NASCAR chicane, as it has been implemented for NASCAR. And here we go. The field is out, and the green flag is out, and Denny Hamlin accelerates away down into turn number 1. Now, this turn is particularly tricky for NASCARs, as their brakes are not very good, and these cars are very heavy. As we go down into turn 1, it looks like the number 22 of Joey Logano is peeking to the inside, and now they go through the kink, or through the bends, my bad. Oh, and Denny Hamlin gets loose, and Elliott and Logano squirm through. Logano now into the lead of this 10-lap. So as we ride along here with the number 47 of Ricky Stenhouse, who has now moved his way up into 4th place from a starting position of 6th. It is Logano, Elliott, Hamlin, Stenhouse, Truex, Harvick, Almirola, Keselowski, Busch, and Blaney to round out your top 11. And now they accelerate out of the second horseshoe for the first time into the merger back onto the banking. We go up to the front. Look at Denny Hamlin trying to make a move on Elliott as Logano seems to be getting away from the pack. And now into NASCAR 1 and 2. They roared. Listen to these engines roar as they go through the high banking. This completely flat out. Nothing but a left-hand turn. And here they come into the bus stop chicane for the first time. Very hard braking zone as these cars, again, do not stop very well. First left, first right, then another right, then full power back up onto the banking into NASCAR 3 and 4. So the 3 biggest overtaking zones are the bus stop chicane, the NASCAR chicane coming up here, and into turn 1, as turn 1 has a very wide radius. You see the front of the field work their way through NASCAR chicane and then power back into the tri-oval across the start-finish line, and that is lap 1 completed of 10 scheduled racing laps. Or Austin Dillon is still sitting on pit road, probably with an engine issue, as they even failed to start up. Oh, and Elliott's looking. Oh, and Denny has gone past Elliott going into the bend. And then down into the first horseshoe as we take a look behind Chase Elliott to see the rest of the field come through. And then in the background, you can see Kurt Busch diving up the inside of number 41 of Cole Custer into the first horseshoe as they now rocket down through the kink. So far, a pretty standard race here. FASCAR has actually only raced at this layout once, and that was due to the unfortunate global events last year that this race had to be added on. As Chris Buescher runs wide coming out of the second horseshoe, struggling to get back on the track. That lost him several places as his teammate Ryan Newman just passes him. Tyler Reddick looking to make an opportunistic move on the outside here on turn 6. And it looks like he's got it done. If you look behind and see the rest of the field, Ty Dillon is down into last place of the running cars, excluding his brother Austin. Not a good day for the Dillon. And as they enter the bus stop for the second time, you can see Denny Hamlin is closing in at Logano as Logano goes slightly wide in the second part of the bus stop chicane and back onto 3 and 4. If you look in your top left, you can see the live timing for this race. The number 22 is ahead of Elliott. As of last lap, my apologies, our timing only updates after they have completed the lap, so the timing will update here after Logano crosses the stripe for the second time. The estimated pit window of this 10-lap race is 3 or 4 laps, so we will most likely be seeing 2 pit stops from each of our contenders here today, although someone may try an audacious 1 stop if they can stretch their fuel to 5 laps. We start lap 3. Logano still leads from Hamlin, from Elliott, from Stenhouse, from Truex, from Harvick, from Keselowski, from Almirola, from Custer. As Keselowski looks to go around the outside of Harvick into the first shoe, and he's got him. Harvick seemed to have a wiggle coming out of the bend next to the pit lane wall. And Keselowski took advantage of that to get Harvick into the first horseshoe. Just gonna scroll through the field here to see if anyone's making any opportunistic moves. That is negative. Oh, and look at this. Austin Dillon has managed to join the track. Of course, Austin Dillon, starting from pit lane, is already a lap down on the rest of the field. He most likely will not be able to make that up unless something dramatic happens, as FASCAR does not allow any lap cars to unlap themselves unless they are in front of the leaders. As Logano and Hamlin go into the bus stop for the third time, you can see the damaged and slower car of Austin Dillon in the distance. So far, over a fifth of the way through this race, it looks like it's going to be a two-horse race between Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin. Although Ricky Stenhouse has a very respectable fourth place for his JTG Daugherty racing car. Oh, and look at this. The top three have peeled off into the pits. So this is the first stop of an estimated 2. And the top 5 has gone in 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Really, the whole entire field has decided to make their first place. We look here on pit road to see who's going to come off first. Take a little bit of a camera break. Oh, and it looks like Denny Hamlin might have jumped him in the pit lane. Let's take a look. Denny Hamlin has the crew of the number 11 have certainly earned their money today, as they have jumped Joey Logano in the pits. Now we watch as the cars come back out onto track to start the 4th lap of racing. So again, only 21 cars on the entry list today due to this being an exhibition race with specific criteria in order to qualify. The normal field size, as stated in our introduction video, if you have not watched that, I highly recommend doing so. That way you get a full understanding of the series and the schedule that the 2021 FASCAR season will be running. Now, several people may be wondering, why is the 2021 season being covered here on FASCAR? That is because the game that the FASCAR coverage is on, NASCAR Racing 2003, does not have an adequate 2022 season available to be used at this moment in time. So we are using the 2021 season mod instead. I highly recommend, if you're looking to have some fun, that you download NR 2003 and mess around with the different tracks and car sets that you can download. Anyways, back to the racing. It looks like Logano is still about half a second behind Hamlin going into NASCAR 4 and then down into the NASCAR chicane. Take a look at them as Logano gets a bit later on the brakes through the first apex. Denny a little wide, Logano a bit better through the second apex, and then out onto the front stretch, going through the trioval. Is Logano close enough to make a move into turn 1? We will find out. Down into turn 1. Nope, it looks like Logano's just a little bit too far back from Hamlin as they go into the first turn. We'll go back to the field, see how close everybody is. The Elliott just biding his time in third place, trying desperately to catch the first 2, as at the end of this lap, we will be halfway through this 2021 Clash at Daytona. Keselowski's up in the third place. Looks like he has a bit of right side body damage. That might have just been from brushing the wall coming out of the pit lane, as most drivers, due to their lack of experience with this pit exit, actually have been struggling throughout practice, qualifying, and the race. It looks like most of the second half of the field is within a few seconds of each other, as from the back of Truex, you can see the number 1 of Kurt Busch, the number 12 of Ryan Blaney, the number 43 of Eric Jones, the 41 of Cole Custer, the 17 of Chris Buescher, and the 6 of Ryan Newman. We go back on to NASCAR 1. Let's ride around for this remainder of the lap with Martin Truex, as he's passed on the inside by number 1 Kurt Busch. Blaney got a better run off of turn 2. And same with Eric Jones. Up and Cole Custer's to the inside of Martin Truex as he goes over the curb at the inside of the second part of the bus stop. Very unusual from Truex, as he's typically runs quite well at Daytona, although this road course must not be his strong suit. Kevin Harvick has caught back up to the number 18 of Kyle Busch, as we are now halfway through this race. Busch and Harvick are fighting for 8th position. Keselowski's caught up to Stenhouse, fighting for the 4th position. As you can see off in the distance, Denny Hamlin is still in front of Joey Logano, with Chase Elliott maintaining his about 3 seconds behind the 2 leaders. Or behind the leading 2, I should say, as there can only be 1 leader in racing. As we go back through the field, see if anyone is making a move into the first horseshoe. You know. Back on board with Martin Truex as they go down through the kink. And Cole Custer looks for the dive up on the inside. And does he have enough to make it stick? He's going to have to go around the outside of the second horseshoe. Let's see if he can do it. Truex going defensive, but Custer's able to get down on the power sooner, and Custer has the position. Here comes Ryan Newman, possibly looking up the inside. No, he holds back. Now they power on to NASCAR 1. Let's take a quick look at the lead. Actually, we'll take a look at this. Kevin Harvick looks like he has a move into the bus stop on Kyle Busch. Will he be brave enough to send it? He sends it up the inside. Busch backs out. Probably the smarter thing to do. That way to not risk crashing both their cars. And looks like Harvick has the position. And look at that. Denny Hamlin has peeled off into the pits for his second scheduled stop. Is anyone else joining him? Kyle Busch has peeled off into the pits as well. Same with Kurt Busch, Alex Bowman, and Chris Buescher. Let's follow along with Joey Logano to see if he's able to have a good enough outlap as he laps Austin Dillon for the second time. Does Logano have enough to have a good enough in-lap in order to overcut Denny Hamlin? We will find out, as there are only 4 laps to go in this 2021 Clash at Daytona. Another bit of just series news. As if you watched the preview, you would have seen the race length for our 35 race schedule. All of the lap counts will be divided by 4 in order to show you guys the race in the most timely fashion. All races will be run at 25% of their stated distance in order to make sure that you guys get the best viewing experience possible. Fuel and tire wear also has been changed accordingly in order to reflect the real life racing. As you can see, Logano's got a large gap to the second car that is out on track, which is Chase Elliott. Seems to have extended his lead as Elliott has been stuck behind the lap car of Austin Dillon. Now, does Logano come into pits this time by? That is a yes. Logano peels off into the pits. Let's stay with him to watch this pit stop. So as those familiar with FASCAR will know, pit lane has a speed limit. I believe today it is 55 miles an hour at the Daytona road course. Tires are 6 lug nuts, so they have to quickly get all of them off and then refastened before they go back to the other side of the car. And look at this. Joey Logano's only taking 2 tires, as noted by the fact that they jacked up only the left-hand side of the car, taking in some fuel, and that is a quick stop from the Penske crew. Now we will look at the rear view camera to see if that has been enough to jump Denny Hamlin as he goes through the pit exit, which is cutting the inside of turn 1 and turn 2. We're waiting for any sign that Denny Hamlin is around, as Logano's now able to put his foot down and accelerate back onto the course. There's no sign of Denny Hamlin. No sign at all. Looks like Joey Logano has taken the lead from him. Let's go back to check. Oh, and it's true. Denny Hamlin has lost out. The undercut from the lead has not worked. Logano has successfully pulled out the overcut as well as Chase Elliott with 3 laps to go. And Logano has really ran away with this. Props to the Penske pit crew for getting Joey Logano on the right strategy. Looks like 2 tires and just a bit of gas was the way to go, as Denny's now closing up on Elliott for 2nd place. As we scroll back through the field, the gap between Stenhouse and Keselowski for 5th has grown. Harvick has moved into 6th, Almirola 7th, Blaney 8th, Busch has dropped down to 9th. Kurt Busch is in 10th, Custer 11th, Buescher 12th, although he's looking for a move up the inside of Custer into the merge turn. Back onto the back end, and it looks like he's got it. As there's some fighting in front of him. Oh, too wide. The Busch brothers are tandeming down through through NASCAR 2. Blaney stuck on the outside, looks to be losing out to both of them. As he falls in line going down to the bus stop, does Kurt Busch make a move on his brother Kyle? It looks like he's going to the inside. Oh, and he sends it up. Kyle again backs out. Oh, and Almirola one's ride. Kurt is looking for a run. As they head on to NASCAR 3, Kurt Busch on the outside has the move done. Almirola, for some reason, seems to be going really slow as Kyle Busch and Blaney now close up to Almirola. Busch pushes him up the track a bit. Does Busch make a move coming into the NASCAR chicane? He does. Does he keep it? He doesn't. Blaney with a nice move around the outside. Gets a position too. Almirola dropping back like a stone. Oh, and sorry, viewers, as we seem to have missed the Denny Hamlin's pass on Chase Elliott for 2nd place, as now Hamlin with 2 laps to go is looking to chase down Joey Logano. Looks like Logano has about a 3-second lead. As you can see, scrolling through the standings, we still have all 21 cars running, although Austin Dillon, due to engine troubles at the start of the race, is a lap back. William Byron is in 20th with Tyler Reddick in 19th, Ty Dillon in 18th, Martin Truex Jr. disappointing 17th, Matt DiBenedetto up into 16th, Alex Bowman in 15th, Newman in 14th, Eric Jones in 13th, Cole Custer in 12th, Chris Buescher in 11th, Eric Almirola down to 10th after he got passed by Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, and Ryan Blaney. Blaney is in 9th place with Busch brothers in 7th and 8th, Kevin Harvick in 6th, Brad Keselowski in 5th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in 4th, Elliott 3rd, Hamlin 2nd, and Logano in 1st. As Hamlin comes out of the bus stop chicane for the 2nd to last time, powers onto the banking. This track is one of 2 high-banked ovals, the other being Talladega Superspeedway, where the cars can go completely flat out no matter what layout they are running. Denny looking to get a bit later on the brakes in order to catch up to Logano. Let's see if he has managed to do so at all. Although it looks quite unlucky, as the white flag is out from the flag stand, meaning that no matter what happens on this final lap, the race will end here. Logano dives into turn 1. Hamlin following behind. Elliott trying to close up to Hamlin for 2nd place. Although in this expedition race, 2nd really does not mean anything. It looks like the gap between the front 2 has stayed about the same at 3.14 seconds. As there's a close fight for 7th and 8th place. As Buescher has now got past Almirola. Oh, and Custer. Almirola seems to be having problems. Oh, damage to the front of the number 43. He must have made contact with somebody at some point during this race. Blaney's trying to close up onto the back of the number 18 of Kyle Busch, going through the kink on the infield section of this road course. As you can see, Logano powering onto the banked oval for the final time. We will go back to the lead. Well, as Logano was absolutely running away with it, Denny Hamlin is nowhere near him going into the 2nd to last hard braking zone of this track. Logano through the bus stop, cleanly, back onto the oval for the final time. He rounds turn 3 and 4. Only has the NASCAR chicane left. And he has successfully navigated as he powers out onto the tri-oval, checkered flag in the air. And Joey Logano will take the 2021 Clash at Daytona, followed by Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Ricky Stenhouse and Brad are coming out of the NASCAR chicane and across the line. And Stenhouse will take an impressive 4th place. Keselowski 5th, Harvick 6th, Busch 7th. Kyle Busch seems to have held off Ryan Blaney, and he will take 8th place. Ryan Blaney, a respectable 9th place. Chris Buescher 10th. Cole Custer 11th. Eric Jones 12th. Ryan Newman 13th. Alex Bowman 14th. Almirola 15th. DiBenedetto 16th. Dillon 17th. Reddick 18th. Byron 19th. Truex a very disappointing 20th position. And as we follow along with the final car on track, Austin Dillon, whose day was ruined from the offset. He will be finishing dead last in 21st place for the Clash, but the team will at least have an opportunity to work on that engine issue before going into the qualifying duels later on this week. Into the NASCAR chicane for the final time. And that, folks, is the 2021 Clash. As you can see here, Joey Logano won the race, followed by Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Brad Keselowski, Kevin Harvick, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, Chris Buescher, Cole Custer, Eric Jones, Ryan Newman, Alex Bowman, Eric Almirola, Matt DiBenedetto, Ty Dillon, Tyler Reddick, William Byron, Martin Truex Jr., and Austin Dillon. As you can see here, there was no caution flags at all during today's race, and only 2 lead changes, with Joey Logano leading the lion's share of the laps here at 8, and Denny Hamlin leading 2. Well, that will be all for today's coverage on the War Given Racing Network for the 2021 Clash at Daytona. We look forward to seeing you guys again for the 2021 Duels at Daytona. That will set the grid for the 500 miles of Daytona. Thank you again, and I hope that everyone has a great day.